Hello everyone, in this video I'll be explaining you the problem binary battles and let's start with the series roadmap to become competitive programmer 5 star. So N teams have come to participate in a competitive coding event called binary battles. It is a single elimination tournament consisting of several rounds. Note, it is known that N is a power of 2. So there are N teams and N is power of 2. In one round, each team will be paired up with and compete against one of the other teams. If there are X teams before the start of a round, X by 2 matches are held simultaneously during the round between X by 2 pairs of team. The winning team of each match will move on to the next round, while the losing team of each match will be eliminated. Okay, there are no ties involved. The next round will then take place in the same format between the remaining teams. Okay, there is no tie as well, like there is always a win or lose. Um, the process will continue until only one team remains, which will be declared the overall winner. That is obvious. So the organizers want to find the total time the event will take to complete. Okay, the organizer, he wants to know how much time will the entire event will take. So it is given that each round spans a minutes and there is a break of b minutes between every two rounds, no break after the last round. Okay, since in the last round one of the team has declared winner, so they don't need to take rest. For example, consider a case when there are four teams and you know competition between both the team will take 10 minutes and the break is like 5 minutes. The first round will consist of two matches and will take 10 minutes to complete. Two teams move on to round 2 and the other two get eliminated. Then there is a break of 5 minutes. The remaining the two remaining team compete in round 2 which lasts 10 minutes more. Okay, so the team that wins is declared the overall winner. Thus the total time taken is the time for round 1, then break, then time to second round, and if you add, so that is going to be 25. So can you help the organizer determine how long the event will take to finish? Okay, got it. So first let's take input. So they have given test cases. So let's try to deal with the test case. So I think from 84 videos we are doing the same thing. So you guys know how to deal with the test case. So yeah, and after that every test case there is three space integers n, which is the number of team A and B. So let's take their values. So they have got four test cases. In the first test case, there are four teams, and we have got 10 minutes for each round and 5 minutes of break. So let's understand this. So what they're saying is, in the first test case, there are four teams, and each round will take 10 minutes of time, right? And this is the break time, right, which is 5. Round time, and this is break time. So essentially what they're saying is there are four teams. Let me consider T1 as one team, T2 is other team, T3 is other team, and T4. So initially there are four teams. So the organizer, they'll make pair. So let's say they have made pair between these two teams and they'll compete. Let's say they will compete, and in order to find the time, what they'll do is they will make this both the matches to run in parallel. So let's say you can assume that they have multiple like they have multiple computers, so they may run parallelly. So let's say the round in this case, in this T1 and T2, let's say T1 has won the match, and in order to compete, they'll be taking 10 minutes of time, right? So once T1 is won, that is fine, and now he'll be taking 5 minutes of break. In this case, let's say T4 has won the match, and again this will take 10 minutes and 5 minutes of break he is going to take. Now After this 4 team, since T1 has won, T2 is lost, so he'll be eliminated. And in the same way, T4 has won, so T3 will be eliminated. So we have right now 2 teams, and now these 2 teams will be competing with each other. Now let's say T1 has won the match. So once T1 has won the match, but in order to compete, this will take again 10 minutes of time. So if you try to see, this is the timeline. So if you try to see the match, between all the 4 teams is going to be 10 minutes. Plus, since some team has won the match and they are going to take 5 minutes of break. Again, these 2 teams will be competing, which will take 10 minutes of time. And since this is last team, like we have only 1 team and T1 is winner, right? So after winner, he'll not be taking like 5 minutes of rest. He'll not be taking. So whatever time you have got, the event has got, it's like 10 plus 5 plus 10, which is 25. So 25 minutes will be required for the event organizer to make from n teams to make one other team as winner. So this is the problem statement. I think you guys got to know how to deal with this. This is a visualization, but how do we find in mathematics so that we can code it up easily? So in order to find in mathematics, what we'll be doing is, in the question, one of the thing, if you understand, they have given is like this n is a power of 2. They have said n is a power of 2, which means it's like 2 power k, you can think of, right? It will be in the form of power of 2. So now what I'll be doing is, I'll be taking a while loop in which you have n which is greater than 2. I'll be taking y greater than 2, I'll be telling you. So I'll be taking a while loop when it will be running for each time. So whenever n is greater than 2, that will be running. And as you know, like we had 4 teams, and essentially if you divide it by 2, only 2 teams will be going in the next round, and 2 teams will be going into the next, will be getting eliminated. That is obvious, like, because we have n as power of 2. So if it is a power of 2, we definitely will have the pairs. It will not be the case like one more team we have T5, but for that corresponding team we don't have any other team. It is not the case. So always we will have a team in a pair. So that so that is the reason whenever you divide n by 2, you will be having certain teams. And what if if n is equal to 6 will be there the case? It is not the case, because n is not a power of 2. So that will not be there in the question what they have said, because if you divide n by 6 by 2, that is going to be 3. Like 3 teams you have, let's say T1, T2, T3. So you will be making a pair, but you cannot make a pair with T3. So if you can't make a pair with T3, so that is not the case. That's why they have said n is always a power of 2. Let's say 16, it is a power of 2. You divide it by 2, you will get 8 teams. Again, this is a power of 2 divided by 2. That is going to be 4. This is a power of 2 divided by 2. This is again 2. If you again, this is a power of 2. 2 power 1 is 2, and here you will get 1. So always it will be power of 2. That is the meaning of this statement, and this statement is very important. So right now what we'll be doing is, whenever, let's say we have 4 teams, so in the next round you will be having 2 teams, and in these 2 teams one team will be losing and one team is going to be winning. So if you try to see, we had one it's like we had here event, like the teams competing with each other. Here also we had our teams competing with each other, right? So whenever that was the case, like they were competing with each other, so it was taking 10 minutes of time. And now when they were moving to the next round, they were taking 5 minutes of rest. And then now also in order to compete these 2 teams, they were taking 10 minutes of time. And since at the end we did not had any other team, just 1 team we had, so it's like winner. So we were not the team were not taking any rest. So in order to find that, so let's say you have 8 teams. next you will be having 4 teams because 4 will be lost and 4 is going to be winning. So this is the order that you will be getting, right? So again here they'll be taking, let's say, um, 10 minutes. Here I'm just taking 10 minutes, actually it will be A minutes, and they'll be taking B minutes of rest. So let me tell you in that way only. Whenever they are taking A minutes time to compete and B minutes time to rest, again here they'll be taking A minutes to complete, B minutes to rest, and A minutes to complete. So it's like your team, you have multiple teams. So whenever your n is greater than 2, like in the case wherein you have n is greater than 2, till here you will be getting, right? So in that case, what you are going to see is that the time required for the event is like the competing and the rest time. And when n is 1, at that time you are going to only take the competing time, you are not going to take the rest time, because at the end you have the winner. So after that you should not be taking any rest as said in the question. So I'll be running a loop while n is greater than 2, and I'll be taking as answer, which is basically the time, which will be initially 0. Your answer will be increased by a plus b, right? As I said, because you are competing or taking rest, competing, taking rest, and your n will be divided by 2, because you have 4 teams now, sorry, 8 teams now, they have competed with each other. So 4 teams has won, 4 teams has eliminated. So 4 teams that has won is going to be as n is equal to n by 2, which is 8 by 2 is 4. So you have 4 teams right now. Now since 4 is greater than 2, so again you will come in a loop, you will be adding these 2 times, and you have n is 4, you divide it by 2, you're getting 2. So 2 is greater than 2 is not true, which means you have come up wherein you have only 2 teams and they'll be competing with each other. So whenever n is equals to 2, so in that case you need to just add the competing time. So whenever you come out of the loop, you just add the competing time, which is A. You should not be adding B, because at the end they'll not be taking any rest. So this is a pseudocode that we are going to implement. I think you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. That is a thing. And let's try to code it up. So we have taken n and this thing. Now let's take int answer is equal to the time required for the entire event. So we will have we'll be running a loop, as I said on the board, while n is greater than 2. So in this answer we will be adding a plus b, and your n is going to decrease by, sorry, divided by 2, because n by 2 teams is going to eliminate, n by 2 team is going to move forward in the next round. And whenever you have n is equal to 2, which means you have 2 teams, now those 2 teams will be competing with each other. So when they are competing with each other, so the time required will be a, and once they have competed with each other, one of the team has got eliminated, other team has got as the overall winner, and after that you don't need to take any rest. So that's the thing here. Let's try to display this. So we are expecting 25, 135, 285, 311. So indeed we are getting. Let's try to submit. Yeah, it got accepted. So in this way you could have easily solved the problem. It was an easy only, like whenever there is a match, so they'll be competing, that is the time required is A, and they'll be taking rest. But in the last match, whenever you have only 2 teams, so in that case they are not going to take the rest, only the competing time is going to be calculated in the overall event. So yeah, in this way you could have easily solved the problem. So thank you guys for watching the video.